Okay, so I think it's really important for us to begin with just showing the kids the difference between literary and nonfiction text. Mm-hmm. They can't do that type of work if they don't understand that nonfiction text is organized completely differently. Right. And so I feel like our first teaching point could be something like, readers notice the difference between how fiction and nonfiction are organized. And that's kind of hitting our standard, that structures of nonfiction. Mm-hmm. So we know that standards are not teaching points. We know that standards are like a framework of what the student has to be able to do. Right. And we need to break that standard apart daily to, start with the most basic and then release them a little bit more and give them more. So by the end of that week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or unit, they've hit that standard and met that standard. Right. And so readers notice the difference between how fiction and nonfiction are organized. Let's move that to...
Oh, yeah, your rotation, sorry.
Yeah, so let's move that to test prep on Monday. In doing that, I'm imagining we could do Mayan, if you want to write down Mayan on here. Because then we can pull in, some of that technology piece, and we can just show them, hey, look at this. What do you notice between this story? What do you notice between this text? And hopefully they've noticed the difference.
Also, I envision making some kind of teaching chart.
Okay.
Teaching chart to document.
Like comparing and contrasting?
Yep, document what the kids say.
Okay.
So,
holding them accountable later.
Yep, kid work. So something like that.
Good. So now in thinking that by Monday they've noticed the difference, now how can we take another standard and kind of, because obviously the structures are going to continue to flow. So if I think about Monday with test prep, let's think about how Tuesday will look in test prep. Right. They should have already known how nonfiction is organized. Hopefully in Monday they've talked about text features. There's bold words, there's tables of contents, there's tons of different text features.
And they're able to use that language.
Right. So now by Tuesday, why don't we do, we're going to hit our RN 3.1 text features, but let's put it into a teaching point. What do we want to teach them? And we can always start with something like, boys and girls, today I want to teach you that readers can identify specific text features. So they should be able to point out, that's a bold word, that's a chart, that's this. And so once they can identify specific text features and how those text features help present new information. So we can explain to them that this information can be broken up in an easier way. By looking at the title, I already know what my article is going to be about. By looking at my headings, I know what each paragraph is going to be about.
Which then could lead into your main ideas later and things like that.
Right.
Okay, so our Tuesday.
Will be Tuesday. Okay, so like what you were just saying, now if we think about Wednesday, one of the other teaching points, or one of the other standards that we definitely want to hit is that you can do main idea with nonfiction. Now, obviously, these are going to continue into several weeks.
Right.
But obviously, we want to look at these standards and make sure we're hitting them with specific teaching points. So on Wednesday, by Wednesday, the kids already know how nonfiction is organized. They know that text features are one of the ways that it's organized.
And they have specific names.
And they have specific names and can find information. Why don't on Wednesday we talk about how readers can use those text features
to
find the main idea. And so I envision that being something like showing the kids the headings and say, boys and girls, look at how this heading is labeled with this. It's a mini title. This is giving me, as a reader, some knowledge about what this paragraph is going to be about. And just from reading this heading, I already know the main idea of this paragraph.
Okay.
So readers can use text features to help identify the main idea.
And I put on here heading and subheadings as well.
Perfect.
Kind of the really big ones.
That would be Wednesday. So in thinking about how we want them to continue, not only just, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, not only just talking about how text features find the main idea, but how sometimes text features don't necessarily give us the main idea and we have to find the main idea in the article. And so that's also going with RN 2.2, but we're specifically teaching them a skill.
How to do this.
So on Thursday, it could say something like, readers can use text features to find information. So not necessarily the main idea, but how we can
Just
use
information in general.
information, yeah, in general.
Use text.
Okay, and then in that, we could be charts, graphs, glossary. I mean, any,
Sidebar,
yeah,
all
sidebar,
those.
anything, fact box, everything. In keeping my violin passage that we're reading, which is fabulous, they could read information like that. So then, in thinking about Friday, we want to break it down even more for them. So even just by Thursday, you know, they're using text features to find information. What about if we pull in one of our evidence standards?
Yep.
So that ask and answer questions refer explicitly to the text. So why don't we say that readers, boys and girls, today I want to teach you that readers can use text features in order to find evidence to support your answer.
Okay, readers can use text features to
Support their answer.
support.
So we might on Friday, you know, have them answer a question and then say, well, prove it using one of the text features. How
Right.
can you prove that? And use that as evidence using your text-dependent evidence stems. So in thinking about this first week, as a whole, the only thing that we are really hitting in this whole first week of test prep is text features and a teeny bit of structure, not really. But the majority is just text features. And so that would be like RN31, I'm going to put that right here. Text features. So there's our standard, but here's how we're breaking
Breaking it
apart
down.
text features on a daily basis.